Let's do a quick update on gold. I think it's probably started to move down into its first daily cycle low. The cycle is right translated. It rallied for, I think this is day 27. So that would be a right translated cycle. So the odds are very good that it is not going to drop below this low. Because we made a higher high here, we'd have to redraw this trend line instead of through this pivot. Draw it through this pivot right here. But gold is breaking this trend line today, so another indication that it's probably ready to move down into its first daily cycle low. And remember, during the advancing phase of an intermediate cycle, price doesn't generally stay oversold for very long before the next rally starts. But you don't want to try and buy too early before RSI gets oversold. And clearly we're not there yet. And of course, this is probably sped up a little bit by options expiration. This is pretty much standard banking cartel strategy. They almost always attack metals right ahead of the options expiration to expire as many options at zero as possible. So no surprise, real surprise here. You want to, first off, you want to wait at least until this gets oversold, and then you probably want to wait for a swing before you try and buy that dip. But I think you should buy the dip, as I don't think this intermediate rally is over. I'm kind of anticipating the rally will last into February. If I'm correct that this is an 8-year cycle low, then it will last into February. Intermediate cycles will be right translated if this was our final intermediate cycle low. Now I haven't got the final confirmation of that yet. My confirmation is going to be a move above 1900. I'm going to need to see gold go above 1900 before I can say definitively that the 8-year cycle low is behind us. So there's still a small chance that 8-year cycle low is still ahead of us, and we've got just some more frustration ahead, and that 8-year cycle low will form maybe somewhere out here in March or April, but I don't think so. I think the rally in the mining stocks, and especially silver, is strong enough that I think the odds favor that this was a final 8-year cycle low. Also, we've got these rounded bottoms forming, which tend to be a pretty strong bottoming pattern, and not what I would expect to see if this was just a counter trend bear market rally. Those usually unfold as just a violent move up that gets everybody really bullish really quickly, and then they kind of fade away. This is not that kind of bottom. This rounded bottom is more indicative of a more longer term and more powerful bottom. And next I'll show you some sentiment. All right, so here's the intermediate degree sentiment. This is not short term, but intermediate degree sentiment for gold. This looks like the bell ringing to me that we've probably put in that 8-year cycle low. Very similar, excessively bearish sentiment as to what happened here in, I believe this was 2018, and then here was our final bear market bottom back in 2015. This was a completely different look on sentiment here, as gold was in a bear market, but it's no longer in a bear market. We've gone on to make higher highs. Gold is back in a bull market. So in a bull market, I wouldn't expect to see this embedded bearish sentiment. I would expect something more like this, where sentiment gets extremely bearish. Everybody gets on the wrong side of the boat, and then the bottom occurs and sentiment starts to move higher. And this is another reason why I think it's likely that we still have further to go in this intermediate rally, as we have not produced any kind of excessive bullish sentiment yet in gold. So bell ringing right here. I think that the 8-year cycle low is probably behind us. It probably occurred right here, and now we've just got probably a long way to go yet before we get some really excessive bullish sentiment. So I'm just expecting a normal pullback into a daily cycle low. That should be your first real buying opportunity in the metals. And let me go back to gold here. All right, so we'll keep an eye on the RSI. Once it gets oversold, then we'll start to watch for a swing. Don't read too much into today and tomorrow. This is this is standard, like I said, standard cartel banking or banking cartel strategies. They always do this, almost always do this ahead of options expiration to fleece any gold bugs that have call options. So just in my opinion, just a normal corrective move down into the first daily cycle low, and that should be your first buying opportunity in this intermediate rally.